What a way to bring to a close the action on Governor's Island for the Lgct Grand Prix of New York. Daniel Deusser making it 2 for 2 in 2022. And look at the frustration knowing how close he was. Peter de Vos counting championship points, just one rider away from winning a Grand Prix again this year, and getting that much closer to Ben Mayer, making it that much tighter for Ria, the 15th and final stage on the Longines Global Champions Tour. But for now, as it stands, a 6th place finish for Ben Mayer is enough to give him the championship lead from Christian Aumann. We will give you all of the numbers and confirm the exact standings. But as it is now, Ben Mayer moves to 1, Peter de Vos moves to 2, and Christian Aumann drops down to 3rd place with just one Grand Prix left. Before we look at exactly how much of an advantage Ben Mayer has over Peter de Vos and Christian Aumann, let's go back to the jump-off. Let's start with Shane Sweetnam into the jump-off today, knowing that he had a very tough task at hand, stopping the clock eventually at 41.51, finishing 0.06 seconds slower than Marlon Bayard-Janssen, Shane Sweetnam and Alejandro. Just ever so slightly, fractions of a second we are talking here. 0.06 seconds slower than Marlon Bayard-Janssen and H&M Indiana. Now, the Swedish pairing were the first combination to come out the gate for the jump-off. Let's show you what took place with Marlon Bayard-Janssen, as she then needed to set the pace and did so incredibly well, jumping clear on Indiana and making sure that in that penultimate line here, trying to be as tight as she could be, stopping the clock at 41.45 seconds, a time that was not to be bettered by Shane Sweetnam and Alejandro. You could see the smile on her face. She was happy with the time and it proved to be competitive. But as we mentioned, Shane Sweetnam then followed, was unable to beat it. And Peter de Vos proved to be a very, very tricky customer, because now he knows that Ben Mayer has not qualified for the jump-off, but put in a really fast score of 4. And because of that, has earned valuable championship points on Momstupi de la Roque after winning in London. Now pushing, trying to be as quick as he can, stopping the clock eventually at 41.15 seconds to take the lead from Marlon Bayard-Janssen and hold on to the provisional lead, knowing that just one rider was to come. And we'll show you the Daniel Deusser round in a few moments' time. As we look now, the riders are coming out back into the ring and getting ready for the winners' ceremony. In fact, here we show you Daniel Deusser now on Scuderia Tobago, his second different Grand Prix winning horse after going on to win in Cannes, now winning in New York and going on to better Peter de Vos's time by 0.08 seconds. And what a performance from Daniel Deusser, stopping the clock at 41.07 to take first place, to take yet another Grand Prix. He was already going to the Super Grand Prix in Prague. And now Daniel Deusser making it 2 for 2 in 2022. Sensational performance. You could see the frustration, how close it was for Daniel Deusser and Peter de Vos in that competition. But as it stands, the German was the best of the lot today, finishing on top of the podium. Let's go back to the Governor's Island ring to find our top 3 finishers on the podium.
Championship
How many times we have heard the German anthem playing at the end of a Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix this season. Double victories for Ludger Beerbaum, Christian Allmann, Katrin Ackermann, Daniel Deusser. It certainly has been the year for the Germans as the dignitaries now come on stage and hand out the winning trophies. Jan Tops, of course, the founder and president, handing over Peter de Vos's trophy. No denying the disappointment on the face of Peter de Vos. But, of course, it all comes down to Daniel Deusser as he now gets ready to receive his Longines timepiece. Big smile on the face of the tall German, the former world #1, with his Longines watch, his #1 sash, and yet another Grand Prix victory under the belt. And yet another Lgct trophy in the cabinet as well. Daniel Deusser on Scuderia Tobago winning today, going on to stop the clock at 41.07, winning in Cannes, winning now in New York. It has been a sensational season for Daniel Deusser. It has been a sensational season, in fact, for Peter de Vos, who now moves up to second place on the overall championship standings. And now for the riders to have their go at the champagne, and Marlon Bayer-Johnson handing it out. And then surprisingly, Peter de Vos coming somehow off the stage and through the middle. He makes his way back on as all three competitors now have a word and congratulate one another again for a very strong performance. A very memorable night in New York. A 1-2-3 finish for Marlon Bayer-Johnson, Peter de Vos, and of course, your winner, Daniel Deusser. Before we show the championship standings, let's go back and show you that head-to-head to show you exactly how tight it was at the end of tonight's Lgct Grand Prix of New York. Frederik de Backer will have a field day in dissecting this for you in the Lgct Grand Prix analysis. Peter de Vos on the right, Daniel Deusser on the left. And it was the early stages where Daniel Deusser really was quicker, more aggressive there to get to the fence first, gets out of the combination earlier. But then Peter de Vos and Momstupi de la Roque make up a really good time here, but still beaten to the fence by Daniel Deusser. Now is when de Vos starts to try and make up some time. Slightly tighter, and de Vos gets out sooner, approaches the second last line. They almost make the jump at exactly the same time, and now it becomes a straight shootout between Momstupi de la Roque and Scuderia Tobago. Eventually stopping the clock at 0.08 seconds faster. And that is an almost impossible fraction to try and verbalize, and will be an even harder fraction for Peter de Vos to try and swallow. Your winner tonight, Daniel Deusser, only a 4-rider jump-off after a very, very difficult course being set, a very challenging course being set by Uliana Vidzani. Only 4 of the competitors getting into the jump-off. Shane Sweetnam, Marlon Bayer-Johnson, Peter de Vos, and Daniel Deusser. But Ben Mayer may not have made it into the jump-off, but he does find himself finishing in 6th place. He makes up big championship points and improves on his worst seasonal score of just 13. And because of that improvement of that score, he now finds himself as the new outright leader of the championship standings. Ben Mayer, although not in the jump-off, now leads the championship on 250 points. He is now 6 clear of Peter de Vos on 244, and Christian Allmann, who did not compete today, stays on 238, and Marlon Bayer-Johnson now comes up as the new #4, finishing ahead of Derek Kenny, who now rounds out the top 5. Marlon Zanatelli, Jür Frieling, and Daniel Deusser somehow jumping inside the top 8. As we take a look at what the top 8 looks like after the 14th of 15 stages this year. And as we say goodbye to New York, as we say goodbye to Governor's Island, I remind you that there is just a single event left. Just one Lgct Grand Prix left of the year. One golden ticket left for one of the riders to qualify for the Lgct Super Grand Prix and compete for that enormous prize in Prague towards the end of the year. But perhaps most importantly, just one Lgct Grand Prix left for Daniel Deusser to try and make it 3 in a row? No, it'll be about Ben Mayer, about Christian Alman, and about Peter de Vos to go on and try and win the Lgct overall championship title. So stay with us here on GCTV, and we will see you in Riyadh for the big final, where I remind you, the Global Champions League and the Longines Global Champions Tour titles will be decided. We'll see you in Riyadh. Good night.